Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. Hope you are all doing well. We have just had a massive increase in Earth's naturally resonant background energy fields, known as the Schumann resonances. In fact, we've had 3 waves now over the course of 3 days. So this is the strongest, most recent wave right here, a huge increase in the power and in the frequency of this background electromagnetic energy that we all are immersed within. And this is notable because these Schumann resonances perfectly overlap with human brainwave rhythms, not only in their frequency range, but also in their intensity, suggesting that when Earth's naturally resonant energy fields undergoes a shift like this, so too do we. And this, in many aspects, is unprecedented because typically when we see these sort of spectrogram signatures where you get a big increase in power and also across the different frequencies for a location, this one in particular being Tomsk, Russia, this is data from the Space Observing System, that typically is indicative of there being some sort of local atmospheric disturbance, like a rain cloud or even a thunderstorm passing overhead, because they have these very localized extreme electromagnetic potentials, and that in general just increases the vibrations along this electric field gradient that we're measuring going from the ground surface up to the ionosphere. So the vibrations get stronger. Lightning strikes generate these sort of Schumann resonances. There's about 50 of those occurring every single second around the globe, and they create this global energy field, but there can be local perturbations to that. But what we've seen over the past 3 days in Tomsk, Russia is actually fair weather conditions, which means that there really hasn't been any rain or thunder, lightning, even clouds. It's been perfect conditions for measuring global changes to the Schumann resonances. And also the location in Tomsk, Russia is fairly high latitude up in the northern hemisphere. So it does have a unique ability to observe what's happening as it relates to energy flowing into our planet from outer space, aka space weather. So these waves of energy that have been coming in as observed by the Space Observing System are quite unique. You may have been feeling them because, again, these overlap with our base biology rhythms, our biorhythms, and most notably that would be, again, brain waves, but also heart rhythms and blood pressure waves and more. Up top, we have our same spectrogram for this most recent 3 days, but down below, we now have our amplitude data. And so this is very interesting. We see our 4 different modes. This is mode 1 here in white, usually around 7.8 hertz. So there is a range going from about 7.2 to 8.8 hertz. We see mode 2 there, middle of that range, 14 hertz. Mode 3, 20 hertz. Mode 4 is 26 hertz. And this is the amplitude of that peak power frequency. So you can see those modes here, these horizontal lines going across. You see how there's a bit of width to that frequency range, but there's a peak power frequency that's calculated. Specifically, like here, for example, you can see that very clearly. There is the peak power frequency. This is our power legend. So going from low power, these indigo blue colors, up to high power, those reds and whites. And here is our frequency y-axis going from 0 to 40 hertz. So just to get you situated with the data that we're looking at. Well, here we see our amplitude, and the low amplitudes here are usually around 1 or 2. This time it went up to 53 at the peak. So we notice that most recent increase and the highest increase being with this third wave that came in. Because you see the first wave, and then the second wave, and then the third wave, each one getting bigger than the last. So this first wave really isolated to mode 1, that foundational mode, and even some of the lower frequencies. These could be even like geomagnetic pulsations, because here's mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. Again, we're going up in frequency as we go down in the spectrogram. So you see a little bit of bleeding there to 14 hertz. That's a low beta brainwave, because you have theta rhythms going from 4 to 8 hertz, you have alpha rhythms going to 8 to 12 hertz, and then from 12 to 30 you have beta rhythms. So this is a low beta rhythm there, but you only get a little bit of bleed there. And then the second wave came in on July 26th. This is all UTC +7, so please convert to your local time zone. We see this one though starting to expand down into mode 3, even mode 4. But still mostly confined to the foundational mode. But this second mode also gets activated for longer. You see this amplitude wave. Now all of a sudden the power is going higher up, even some spikes right here, we see this vertical power spike right there. Very brief, very sudden, kind of bizarre. Typically a signature that you get from like a lightning strike, but again, it's been fair weather conditions at times, so we'll look at that next. But look at this third wave. We see the power going up on all of these quite significantly. So mode 1 there, reaching amplitude high of 53. That is not intensity value that you basically ever see during these sort of fair weather conditions. That is very common for a thunderstorm passing overhead. It may even go to 70, 100 or beyond, but that's super localized. So if you're living in Utah, you know, the thunderstorm in Tomsk, Russia is not affecting you in any significant way. But if there's a global change in the Schumann resonances or something that's being picked up as it's coming in from the sun and outer space and the solar wind, then that does have some ability perhaps to interact with you, because we are naturally resonant with these wavelengths of light, which are resonant with the Earth. There's this evolutionary aspect to this whole thing. Also this connection to our consciousness, collective consciousness, our spiritual activation and more. So we see this big increase in the power of mode 1 going to 53, and you'll notice that it's primarily centered on mode 1, because we have mode 2 there going to a high of 26, and we have mode 3 here going to 15, mode 4 going to 15. So there has been an increase in the frequencies of these Schumann resonances, because we do see that the higher frequency modes have been activating, so they are resonating stronger than normal, but there's been a massive release of energy in that foundational mode. And typically the lower frequencies correspond to, let's say, like the lower chakras. So this is that mode that overlaps right between theta and alpha. It's very active when you're like meditative or in a very relaxed state. Maybe you're dreaming, something like that, like REM sleep. But also perhaps we can see these increases when there are activations of Kundalini and the entire flow of energy through the chakras. And so specifically, the lower chakras, root chakra, sacral, solar plexus are heavily being activated right now due to the current planetary resonances. We have the sun in Leo, which is activating that solar plexus. And then we have Neptune and Saturn near conjunction at the very beginning of Aries, the beginning of the Western Tropical Zodiac. So effectively, they are right now in the sky where the sun is rising during spring equinox. And so they're holding that point of the beginning of the entire zodiac calendar. And this is speaking to some sort of big change that's just at the very beginning. Like we've just planted a seed. We're going to see how this now sprouts over the next 5, 10, 100 years. This is a massive, massive activation for humanity, and people are feeling this. A lot of people don't know what to do with this impulse of creative energy. They may feel that they're in a rut, or there's no life to the creativity that's trying to blossom within them. There's no proper outlet for that, or it's being hindered and blanketed and squashed by all these outside forces, which are seeking to just keep that contained. And that's no longer possible. It's just the resonance of that energy is growing too strong to be contained on a collective scale. So we're seeing these big increases of energy, increasing waves 1, 2, and 3. This is all being aided by the increased solar activity as a result of solar maximum. So you have a solar minimum that was last in 2019, 2020, right? People are more calm, peaceful, easy to placate, right? Not as fiery and willing to stand up for themselves. And then when you go up to solar maximum, you just have a lot more of this electric energy at people's fingertips and within them. And they need to kind of release that somehow. And so one expression of that is being angry and creating conflict and discord with others or within even yourself. But one of the higher expressions is to create with that energy, whether this is art or dance or content like this, right? I funnel my creative energies into videos like this. So there are some big activations going on. And if you know how to utilize these frequencies, that foundational mode provides the timing rhythm for all the higher frequencies in your brainwave architecture. Because that foundational mode, right, at 8 hertz, that is created primarily in your temporal lobe. So you have the entorhinal cortex pulsing at 8 hertz. And lower frequencies are better able to propagate basically and spread out throughout your entire brain. You also get strong foundational mode in the caudal regions of your brain. So it's like occipital lobe and parietal lobe as well. If you want these higher frequencies to manifest and be in coherent rhythm, which are really those genius frequencies, then you need that foundational 8 hertz mode to really be pulsing all the different neurons in your brain to be able to connect to that 8 hertz rhythm and then synchronize their higher frequency rhythms that they're creating to that foundational drum beat. And so that's what we're seeing here. We're getting that drum beat stronger and stronger. And if you're able to connect to that, then these higher frequencies are able to activate, and they're able to do so at a higher power than normal. We are seeing mode 2, 3, and 4 go up relative to their baseline values. For example, 2 there for mode 3 and 2 there for mode 2, 1 for mode 4 at 26 hertz. But it is the foundational mode that's undergone the biggest increase in power over this time frame there. So a huge activation of the foundational mode of the Schumann resonances, which is where about 70% of that naturally resonant Earth energy exists. And if we use zoom.earth, we can look at the local weather conditions for Tomsk, Russia, and see whether it was undergoing precipitation or thunderstorm activity, or whether it was fair weather conditions. And this allows us to rule out any sort of local atmospheric disturbances, which is a very important thing to do if you are studying the Schumann resonances and want to actually be able to differentiate between what is happening locally in an area or perhaps what is happening globally for everyone. So here we can zoom in on Tomsk and it'll pop right up. Here it is. There's Tomsk, Russia. And let's actually punch in one more time so we can really see it. This right now is set for the 27th of July, 2 a.m. Universal Time. And I'm simply just going to go back to the 25th. And we'll see effectively no clouds over Tomsk. It's going back day by day. Our data started on the 25th of July. If I go back to the 25th, we also see that Tomsk is effectively in fair weather conditions. I'm going back in time. Now let's go forward, right? So you can watch this. But look at how there's some activity nearby, just clouds and stuff, but nothing really to write home about anyways. But Tomsk is staying nice and clear. And if we go through today, we do see clouds starting to hit Tomsk, and now we're going into the future here. So it looks like there is an atmospheric system soon to pass over Tomsk, but it has not done so yet at this moment in time. So it really looks like this 3-day increasing wave signature is unique to what is happening right now. And I think it's related to the space weather because Tomsk is located pretty far north. And we're not seeing these signatures out of Cumiana, Italy, or out of Hungary. Those two are displaying normal Schumann resonance background fields. So this seems to be unique for the high northern hemisphere. And as a result, Earth is taking that energy in from space weather and the solar wind and formatting that and turning it into the background Schumann resonances. So it will decrease in its power as it propagates around the globe. But what's important to keep in mind is that the signal strength is really not the most important thing. It's the fact that the signal is there in the first place. So the fact that that signal is baked into the Schumann resonance now means that that information is available to anyone so long as you're able to develop a strong enough coherent connection to it to then extract that information and energy. And perhaps that's going to give you a big aha moment. It'll trigger some sort of paradigm shift for you. It's a spiritual activation. There are a million ways that these sort of energies and signals that are being delivered to us from outside sources can be used to upgrade your consciousness, your perspective, your life, and more. With that in mind, I'm here to help you connect to these natural, amazing Earth energies that exist all the time. We have this hardware built into us to connect to the Schumann resonances, and there's always some default level of connection. Our biology needs these Schumann resonances to perform a lot of different tasks within our body. In fact, there's quite a lot of evidence that our DNA as a fractal, highly conductive antenna connects directly to the Schumann resonances, and they are able to change the expression of DNA. Consciously connecting to these energy fields is really where it is at, so I'm here to help you with that. We're going to do a complete chakra activation, starting with the root chakra, this Tibetan singing bowl C note, and then we will also activate the crown chakra with this crystal bowl, and also perform a finishing equalization, harmonization of the biofield using the 432 hertz tuning fork here from Eileen McCusick's biofieldtuningshop.com. So please find a comfortable position and just start to relax and invite some ease into your body. Just notice your breathing, your breath, and take that nice deep breath. Really pull it deep into your belly. Exhale all the air out so you get a full, complete, deep breath, and feel that life and vitalization and charge coming in. And just prepare yourself. Because these energies can be very powerful, especially for those who are bioelectrically sensitive or already very connected to them. But sometimes the connection's not really controllable, it's unconscious. So we seek to turn these connections into conscious connections. So we have control over these powerful creative energies. We all recognize that the sun is a very powerful destructive force. You would not want to fly into the sun. But we give thanks to the sun for the light, the energy, the heat, the warmth that it provides. Earth's magnetic field protects us from a lot of the destructive power of the sun. And in the same way, our biofield protects us and helps us channel and harness these energies. These most recent 3 waves in the Schumann resonance are a glimpse in the sort of powerful and deep energy activations that are occurring on our planet at this moment in time, and therefore also within ourselves. And the biofield produced by the heart does have a lot of foundation in the root chakra, our connection to the earth. A lot of powerful energies exist in the root chakra. Chaos, anger, rage, but willpower, discipline, grit, the libido, love, all find their home in the root chakra. And so we seek to equalize those energies and bring them into balance. And by creating that flow of energy all the way from the root, we activate every other chakra up to the crown and beyond. We invite in these waves of increasing frequency by first bringing them into coherence and allowing them to resonate with the highest expression of our spirit. Let not these energies be destructive, but creative. We are being asked to let go of everything that does not serve us, to make room for everything that is destined to be. And just as Earth is bringing these energies in through the magnetic pole, the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, so too do we bring in these energies through our crown chakra and our root chakra, meeting them together in the heart and solar plexus. Now we harmonize these energies. Visualize two streams, two rivers converging in the center of your body, swirling, creating a vortex of energy. Generating the biofield that surrounds us, connects us to others. Keeps us healthy, strong, vital. In peace and able to enter into bliss. Our biofield is strong. We've integrated these waves of energy, and we invite in the next waves of energy through coherence, resonance, and mutual harmonization. We are one with the earth, one with the sun, the cosmos. We are all one together with God. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please show your support. Click that like button, subscribe. I'll be back with more Earth energy updates for you. Again, I've been your host, Stefan Burns, wishing all of you well. Please take care of yourselves. I have a variety of natural, holistic wellness products that support you with your health and wellness and spiritual activation journey on wildfreeorganic.com and also earthevolution.com. So please check those out. Have a great day. Namaste.